They all seem to be torqued down nice and evenly. Alrighty, so after my last video I went ahead and finished putting the bike together. Now I took the reserve tank off the Mark IV and all I did was wrap a bit of inner tube rubber tyre under there and just wrap it in tape. This tank, how well we'll be able to see here, there we go, I had shaved off these bolts. I don't really like them anyway. I feel like too much pressure and you're going to end up with a leaky tank because there's not a lot holding them in there anyway. We've got a rag joint on the rear wheel there, which seems to be aligned all right. Now you'll notice there is a bolt missing there. There was just no way I could line all 9 holes up on this wheel. Not that I could see anyway. This is only like a short-term little project anyway, so I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. So what I've got down here is, that was, I'm pretty sure, the first motor I ever got. That's a 66/80cc. Now I've bought that alongside to compare the difference in the size, because a lot of the time you don't know if what they're selling you is actually what you're getting. Now there is a significant difference in the size, and I'll be able to show you once I go ahead and get that off. I've also got a pair of calipers and we'll measure the difference in the piston and also the size of the gasket as well. Let's pop that off. Alrighty, now we'll just pop this carburetor off. Right, so if we get a close look at, I actually had to snap 2 of the vanes off because you couldn't get the spark plug tool in there to tighten the spark plug down properly. But you can see the pattern there. It looks like our head gasket was blowing out at the back there. Alright, so here's the gasket I just pulled off, the 50. Now my other motor, so that's the head gasket off the 66. This is the head gasket off the 50. I'm going to show you, there's the difference you can see there. There's proof that you actually are getting a smaller engine. Right, now I've just got the calipers out there. The gasket on the 50cc, 41.6. And the gasket for the 66/80cc is 47 mil. So yeah, definitely smaller engine. And that's a 46.6 mil head on the top there. Alright, so Now, the rings are in perfect condition. Alright, so with the calipers on the smaller piston, and that's probably coming up backwards, but that's 40 mil. So there's no real visible signs of breakage or wear in the head gasket. So we're going to go ahead and replace it anyway, but cardboard does not make a brilliant gasket. It just absorbs everything and doesn't really seal up. So here's the moment of truth. I've yet to open this envelope. If they've sent me the wrong gaskets, I'm going to be really annoyed. Alright, so there's our new base gasket. Good quality, solid material that. If we... that looks pretty good to me. It looks to be about the same size. Now, make sure that's the right way around. Goes this way. Now that gasket is a pretty good fit. It's not impacting the case at all. So this is my least favourite part, is putting the jug back on for the head gasket, which we have here. Again, same size as the old one. Very good. Nice and flat, whereas this one is a bit munted out. So, this exhaust isn't sealed up either, so I'm going to have to go ahead and tighten that up. That feels threaded to me. Completely threaded. Alright, so if that happens to you and you get a threaded bolt hole, don't despair. Don't be afraid of a tap and die kit. What we're going to do is we're going to go and grab that and we're just going to clean those threads up, and we'll put a bit of Loctite and a new bolt in there. Now you do have to be very, very careful when you're doing any sort of tap and die work, especially around the jug, because you don't want any metal filings getting inside of your case. Alright, so all we're going to do is, ideally I'd have this in a table vise to hold it steady, but we're just going to eyeball it, get it as square as humanly possible, and then just very carefully turn your tap in. Now this shouldn't be difficult because we're cleaning up the same sized hole. Any bigger, and of course it's going to have more resistance, and I really don't want to have to go through the effort of drilling down. Now as soon as that starts to feel tight, stop, because you'll start impacting the inside of the case there. That's taken a good bit of material out there. It's already a little bit threaded, but the Loctite should fix that up. Alright, now I'm going to go find some replacement bolts, because the ones that came out are all mucked out with the material that came from the jug in the first place. Alright, so I just went ahead and pulled the exhaust studs out from the Mark IV engine because obviously I don't need to be using them. So we've got our Loctite. Don't go overboard, otherwise it'll just splurt out. Put a dollop in each hole. Don't know if that's even going to show up, but don't forget your gasket. Now, that little trick with the tap, and then again with the Loctite, I can actually feel that really biting down hard now. Well, I spoke too soon. That's alright, more Loctite. Alright, I'm going to try another trick using thread locking tape. So we've sealed that down with a combination of Loctite and thread locking tape. Now fingers crossed that'll set. Alright, so putting the jug back on, make sure that your piston rings are lined up with their little studs. Right, that job has taken me so much longer in the past. I was having issues then because the exhaust was on there and it was impacting the frame and the bracket. We're going to go ahead and put on our fresh gasket. Perfect, no resistance. They all seem to be torqued down nice and evenly. The fuck was I just saying? I just snapped that rod clean out. Today could have gone better. I'm just going to try and stick a dome nut. Right. That dome nut has just taken the very last of the thread, but this should tell us whether or not we're going to get any improvement. last one sounded promising, but then my chain snapped. So luckily I've got a spare master link. I'll throw that on and try again. So I have tried, but clearly I'm just not going to get it started. I've created a whole new compression leak. So the next step will be another engine tear down, and we'll be replacing these threaded rods with brand new ones. And hopefully that'll let me tension down the head enough to get it started. It really wants to fire. It is trying so hard, but without that tight compression, it's just not going to. And to finish off the video today, we'll go for a bit of a ride on the Mark II, just to get some riding out of our system.